Jazzcast Pros.
Hello there, my graceful grinders and totally uniquers. Welcome back to the Grace and Grind podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Pamala Brown-Grinion, and I am so excited that you have decided to join me today. I want to talk about something that has been near and dear to my heart for a very long time. And you guys know the kind of work that I do. I am a leadership etiquette and trauma-informed coach for executive women that is already at the top of their game. You are already a winner. You don't need another degree. You don't need another course. You don't need any of that. You just need some coaching to help you get unstuck and to get you moving in the right direction. I am your C-suite coach. Now, what are we going to be talking about today? We're going to be talking about healing that little girl that's on the inside of the adult woman. Yeah, we're going there. Healing the little girl that resides inside of the adult woman. So stay tuned, get your journal and a pen, a nice hot cup of tea, and get ready to dive in with me because I am going to be dropping some nuggets and giving you some homework to start you off on this journey, okay? All right, here we go. Have you ever stopped and asked yourself what the real cost it is to you to just be strong, to be good, and to keep it all together all these years? What does that cost you? We were raised, I know I was, to believe that love is earned through perfection, that acceptance comes through silence, and that being a good woman means shrinking the softest parts of who you are. The little girl on the inside, if you will, who once laughed freely, dreamed wildly, and lived from her heart. But here's the truth nobody told us. Nobody told me that the price of emotional suppression is steep. It's too steep. When we silence our emotions, we lose access to the most intuitive, vibrant, feminine parts of ourselves. That little girl isn't gone. She's just buried under years of emotional survival. I was listening to something from Carl Jung the other day, and he said that the unhealed inner child doesn't disappear. She doesn't go anywhere. She simply goes unconscious. And that made me think because I spent many, many years as an adult woman, but living with that unhealed little girl inside of me. And I thought to myself, wow, like all of that time, those 33 years, you mean to tell me that the little girl in me was lying dormant and unconscious? He also said that as long as she's trapped there, that your true feminine essence, your intuition, your softness, your creativity, your emotional flow, all of those soft and pink things that God put inside of us, that they stay locked away with her. So all of those gifts are unconscious. It's like, wow. It really, really, really made me ponder and think about myself. So I guess the real question becomes, how do you awaken the little girl who was left behind? How do you liberate that feminine essence that God placed in you? That part of you that knows how to love, how to feel, how to imagine, and how to receive without fear. How do you awaken her? Today, I want to guide you back to her, not with shame, not with judgment, but with compassion, with truth, and with something that I call emotional etiquette. And that's going to be your pathway to healing, back to your emotional authority, and your ticket to wholeness. So, sis, stay with me because if you're hearing this message, it's not random, it's not coincidental. It's not something that you just happen to run across. It's not happenstance. Maybe this video found you. You didn't find this video. And maybe it's because it was supposed to find you. Maybe it's because this moment right here, this might be the moment that your spirit has been waiting for. Think about that. This might be the moment that your spirit was waiting for. So I want to talk to you a little bit about the psychology of the silenced little girl. So many of us are exhausted in relationships. We're lonely even when people are around us, or we're triggered by things that seem so minuscule. And then we tend to say, we make excuses for ourselves and we say, maybe I'm too sensitive. I've been told that. Or maybe I'm just too emotional because I've been told that too. Or maybe I expect too much. I've been told that too. Or maybe I'm just being extra. I've been told that a whole lot, okay? But no, you're not. Your emotions are not a flaw. They're echoes from your internal self. They're echoes from your spirit that are letting you know, hey, I'm in here, I'm over here, and this is real for me. And they're coming from that little girl that's on the inside of you that was never heard, never comforted, never validated, right? Imagine that those echoes that you're hearing is a little girl that's lying inside of you, even though she's unconscious and dormant. She's still there, waiting to be heard, waiting to be comforted, and waiting to be validated. So let me break this down. And I want to do so with love, not judgment. Okay. So just know that this is coming to you from this most soft and pink side of me that I can muster. Okay. So when your emotions were dismissed as a child, when your tears were ignored, when your needs became an inconvenience, when you were told to be strong before you even know who you were, let alone how to be strong, a part of you learned that authenticity may be rejection. Authenticity might be rejection. So you tuck away your feelings into the shadows of yourself, that little girl holding on to the fear of abandonment, invisibility, and unworthiness. And Carl Jung called this the shadow. I call it your unspoken emotional story. Your unspoken emotional story. Why do I call it that? Because you haven't given it a voice yet. You didn't know how to give it a voice yet. And so it's buried. It's still in there. She's still in there. And I want to give you permission to release her today. I want to give you permission to set her free today because she still reacts for you. Even if you don't recognize that, she still reacts. So when your partner ignores your message and your heart sinks, that's her. And when someone criticizes you and your stomach knots up, that's her. And when rejection, even the smallest amount of rejection, feels like death to you, that's her replaying everything that she lived in your previous years. These are not overreactions. They're emotional imprints from the younger you who never felt safe. And until she is acknowledged, she will keep directing your life from behind the scenes. She will continue to be that backseat driver, that passenger on this side that's giving you navigation and direction on who you should be and how you should be. So, in the words of Carl Jung, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will run your life and it will call it fate. She will run your life and she will call it fate. But fate is not what's happening here. This is undoubtedly unhealed trauma running the show. And today I want to help you to break the cycle. We are no longer going to live from that trauma space. Okay. So first, let's talk about how the inner child blocks your feminine energy. Because every woman, each one of us, we were born with this powerful feminine essence. And it's our emotional flow. Again, our intuition, our sensuality, our sensitivity, our creativity, our softness, and the ability to love without limits. Like that's in us innately. We don't have to try to be that. That was put in us innately when we were born. But society has taught us and our experiences has taught us not to cry. Don't feel too deeply. Don't be too much. Don't need anything. Don't be vulnerable and don't trust your emotions. And every time you follow those rules, you've dimmed your feminine essence. You've disconnected from your flow. You've learned to live in this survival mode instead of with emotional abundance. Your feminine energy didn't die. It just went into hiding. Remember, it's dormant, it's unconscious, it's sleeping. It's like a river forced to flow around boulders. You learn to adapt instead of just freely exist with water just flowing. Just picture that. Picture water flowing like a stream flowing, and then picture a stream filled with big boulders and rocks and how it has to navigate in order to get downstream or upstream. But that comes with a cost. That adapting, it comes with a cost. And what's the cost? You may be overly independent. I don't need anybody. I don't need a man. I don't need a friend. I don't need girlfriends. I'm good all by myself. That's so not true. Because if that was the case, we wouldn't have family. No man's an island. That is true. You become emotionally guarded. You're always protecting yourself. You don't want to let anybody in. You're hyper responsible. You want to take care of everybody, but you're not taking care of yourself. You're geared towards performance, not presence. Now that's a big one right there because that used to be me. I'm doing, but I'm not really paying attention to how I'm showing up and I'm not in the moment. I'm always thinking about what's down the road in the future. How am I going to hit that, do that, be that, and not really paying attention to what's in front of me right now, what's going on with Pam right now. You want to be praised for your strength, but you're starved of your softness. And you really can have both. You can have the grace and the grind, no pun intended. Well, kind of. You can be both. You don't have to sacrifice one for the other. Okay. And sometimes you've loved for what you do, but you're unseen for who you really are. And that's because you have not allowed people to see who you really are because you're ashamed. You're embarrassed. You're afraid. You don't know who you are because you've lived with this mask for so long that it has become your reality. And that's not who you truly are. It's who you became while you're in this mode of survival. But now, right now, this is your moment to return to yourself. And I need you to declare to yourself that I am going to show up for me right now. In this moment, right now, I'm going to show up for me. So, the real feminine essence you lost along the way, let's talk about that a little bit because it's not gone. Okay. And it has nothing to do with your gender. It has nothing to do with your sexuality and how you identify. It's all about that person, that spirit, that energy that is abundantly in your soul. You really can't escape it. You can make it be dormant and lie hidden, but you can't escape it. It's still in there. It's your divine emotional intelligence. It's your intuitive power. That spidey sense kind of thing that happens for us women where we know that something isn't quite right. I can't put my finger on what it is, but I know that something isn't quite right. Yeah, it's your spidey senses tingling, that softness that strengthens you. It's your ability to receive and to rest and to connect and reconnect and to just flow. That's all in you. But when your inner child, that little girl on the inside is wounded, your feminine energy becomes blocked. Now, you may ask, Dr. Pam, what is it blocked by? Well, it's the fear of being judged. It's the fear of being unworthy. It's the fear of abandonment. It's the fear of, I might be hurt again. It's the fear of, that's way too emotional for me to participate in. Or it could be just simply the fear of being rejected or the fear of nobody's going to love me because of what I've been through, right? So you shut down the parts of yourself that felt unsafe. And it's almost like it's in protective mode on autopilot. It's not because you're wrong to do that. It's simply because you felt unprotected. It's not wrong to protect yourself, but you're protecting yourself because you felt unprotected. You understand what I'm saying? But your feminine essence is still there. It's still waiting, it's still ready, and it's still waiting for you to call it home. It's still in there. You guys know that commercial like Ragu, it's in there. Everything you need to bring that back to the present, to the forefront, it's still in there. So, how do we heal the little girl and how do we get you back on the path to you? You don't need to erase the past. You can't. It's there. You cannot erase it. You cannot change it. You can only change how you respond to it, your response to it, your behavior response to it. You heal by returning to the moment where the pain was planted, right? You have to go into the basement, in other words. You have to open up the closet and pull the skeleton out. There, you can't gloss over it. You can't smile past it. You can't put makeup on it. You can't. You have to meet your younger self with compassion instead of shame, right where it happened, right where the pain took place. That's what you have to do if you want to inner heal. And healing your inner child is using emotional etiquette at its deepest level. It is acknowledging, it's validating, it's comforting, it's integrating the emotional truths, okay? The realities and truths you once had to hide, okay? So you may be processing, but processing from your eyes when you were a little girl in the past. Now you're an adult, you're a seasoned, mature woman, and you can go back and look at the situation over again and come up with a different alternative for how you're going to process what happened to you as a little girl. So let's jump right in. How do we begin? You have to first recognize her. Recognize her. What I want you to do is find a childhood photo of yourself around the age when you feel like this pain first sat in. And this is important, okay? I want you to look at her. I want you to see her. What was she dreaming about then when you were that age? What did she need? Where did she hurt? Why did she hurt? When did she hurt? Who hurt her? I want you to just think about those things for a little bit. And then I want you to get your journal out and I want you to write to her. I want you to put your picture up where you can see it. And I want you to write to her. And I want you to tell her that you deserved love. You deserved to be safe. And even though that didn't happen for you then, I'm here for you now. I want you to go back and to validate and reassure yourself that you're going to be here for you right now. Even if you felt like no one was then while you're looking at your picture, I want you to look at yourself and say, I'm here for you right now. And I want you to just sit and listen. I want you to be still and be quiet and go inward. And I want you to listen for what she's telling you that she needs. Sit quietly, place your hand on your heart, and ask the little girl in you, what do you need from me today that you may not have gotten yesterday? And by yesterday, I mean the little girl in the picture. And then I want you to listen without judging what she tells you. Listen to that answer. And I want you to write that answer down in your journal and listen as long as it takes. Okay. Now understand, you may not get the answer right away, but once you plant those questions in the soil of your soul, once you plant that seed in the soil of your soul and you sit and you listen and you're still and you're quiet, the laws of nature dictates that it has to give you an answer. It doesn't say when, but it has to give you an answer. So listen without judging. Layla, we're recording, sweetie. Layla wants to be a part of this recording. We're recording, mommy. Okay. This is real life, guys. I have a little pup and she likes to sit with me while I'm recording. So we're just going to keep her here and keep her quiet. But this is real life stuff. Okay. I'm not going to hide my real life from you guys because I invite you into my space. You're inviting me into your space. We're sister girls. And so this is what my life consists of. I have a pup. Okay. So now after you've listened to her needs, I want you to do something that might sound a little strange to you. I want you to become her mother. I want you to speak to yourself with a tenderness that you may not have gotten. I want you to talk to the little girl the way you talk to yourself, the way you talk to your daughter, if you have one, or your niece or your little sister. Would you do that? Would you talk to the little girl in a soft, sweet voice, the little girl inside of you? And I want you to begin to just kind of rewrite your inner voice in a gentle, loving, safe way. So talk to yourself and say things like, "Hey, sweetie, I know you've been hurting, but mommy's here and mommy has you. And I'm not going to allow anyone to ever hurt you again. Why? Because I got you." Okay. I want you to talk to yourself and tell yourself those things that you needed to hear when you were that age as you're looking at your picture. And that might be a little difficult to do. I know it was difficult for me, but it's necessary. Okay. And I want you to start practicing how to return to joy. Whatever made you feel alive as a child, do it again. If you used to dance and now you don't dance, well, get up and shake your tail feather. If you used to play, like when my sister and I get together, we play jacks, right? Play some pickup sticks, play checkers, do whatever you used to do. Go outside and hopscotch, jump rope, do those things that you used to do. Have a girls' night over and play those little circle games that we used to play at summer camp. I used to love those circle games. You like them too, Lele? She's looking at me like, "Mommy, what are you talking about?" Right? I want you to be creative and just use your imagination. What are the things you used to imagine doing? Going to the moon. Imagine that you are a princess in a castle and then laugh at yourself. You're like, really? Like, oh my gosh, like find something about yourself that's funny and laugh. Okay. These are not childish activities, sister. These are for your soul. Okay. They're medicine for your soul. So I want you to be able to practice joy without guilt because your joy does not have to be earned. And you deserve softness and rest and pleasure and beauty and pampering and all of those things simply because you exist. You're here. You deserve them. Okay. And then I want you to work on building your emotional confidence. Every time doubt rises inside of you, I want you to speak to that inner little girl. And when you hear you're not going to be better, I want you to say, "You're safe with me. I got you." When you hear you've tried to inner heal before and it didn't work, I want you to say to yourself, "We can do this." And when you feel like you don't want to hear your inner voice anymore because it's saying all the wrong things to you, I want you to say to yourself, "No, no, no, your voice matters and I want to hear it. Tell me what you're trying to say." Okay. Because your confidence grows when you stop abandoning yourself. I'm going to say that again. Your confidence grows when you stop abandoning yourself. Okay. I want to talk a little bit about the feminine woman you are becoming. All right. So we all understand. If you're listening to this, you're still listening. You understand when I say healing the little girl inside of the adult woman. You understand that. But you don't become whole by becoming better. You become whole by becoming you again. Okay? You don't have to be better. You just have to connect with yourself in an intimate way again. You guys know what I'm saying. Okay? Get your minds out the gutter in an intimate way. right? Not the version that you've shaped by survival and being in survival mode. No, no, no. I'm talking about the version of you that is shaped by truth. The soft part of you, soft but weak. Okay. Powerful, not defensive. Okay. Open hearted, but not unprotected. Intuitive, radiant, and emotionally alive. All of those things. Those are your truths, right? You can be soft, but that doesn't mean you're weak. You can be powerful, but it doesn't mean that you have to be defensive. You can be open hearted, but that doesn't mean you have to leave yourself unprotected and wide open. And you can be intuitive and radiant and emotionally alive, but you choose that. Remember that this journey is not about perfection. It's not about arriving. It is about a homecoming, and that's you, right? And we're going to help you to welcome you back home. It's a return to the little girl who held your joy initially. And it's also a return to the woman you were always meant to be. And that's key because both of them reside inside of you if you acknowledge it or not. You're going to return to the little girl inside of you who once held your joy, and you're going to return to the woman who you were always meant to be. Okay. And I am honored to walk this healing journey with you. As a matter of fact, I'm going to be reflective and look for that part of me that needs to go on a more deeper part of this healing journey, because there's always something to work on. We don't arrive, okay? There's always something to work on. So if this message has touched anything in you, something deep in you, then I want you to subscribe, comment, share, not just for the algorithm, okay? But because your inner girl deserves a community that sees her too. And I want to be a part of your community, and I need you to be a part of mine, okay? And just remember, sis, your feminine energy isn't lost. Again, your feminine energy isn't lost. She's waiting. And today you heard her call. If you are still listening, I want you to connect with me again. Okay. I want you to stay tuned. I want you to like, subscribe. I want you to share this with someone. We all know someone that's hurting. We all know someone who has the little girl inside of her that's hurting just like us. We can all relate. And we also know someone, another sister girl. Don't go on this healing journey by yourself. Don't be stingy. Don't be selfish. Share it with someone and go on this healing journey together. Okay. Because you do need someone when you are going back into those dark spaces. And we're going to go into some dark spaces. Okay. But I'm going to be there with you every step of the way. All right. So please leave me a comment if this touched you in any way so that I know that. And then let me know what are some of the topics that you want to talk about when it comes to healing the inner girl inside of you. And what do you need to heal from? I think that's really important. Tell me what it is. What journey are you going to be on? What journey are we going to be going on together? Where do you need support? Okay. I want you to feel free to be your vulnerable self. This is a non-judgmental atmosphere where you have my permission to be your totally unique self. So until next time, you know what I'm going to say? I'm going to say two things to you. Number one, that you have the power to control. And I'm talking to the little girl in you, that you have the power to control the little girl that lives inside of you. You have the power to control how much power you give her in your adulthood, how you respond to her in your adulthood, how much impact she has on you in your adulthood. You have the power to control how she shows up in your adulthood. So keep that in mind. I want you to always, always, always remember to create your totally unique day on purpose. And if you need to reach me, you know how. You can reach me on all social media platforms at I am Dr. Pamala. That's DRPAMALA with I am in front of that. I am Dr. Pamala. All right, I'm looking forward to hearing from you. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll chat again real soon. Ta-ta for now.